How's it going, guys? We're gonna making more progress on the Miata today. Uh, it's probably gonna take quite a few days because unfortunately we're gonna be going and rebuilding this motor. Um, might be going built this time, getting rods. I have refreshed this engine before, basically took everything apart and cleaned it, put it back all together. But my rear main seal is leaking now, and I'm getting lots and lots of blow by right over here. If you can see the oil through here and the oil right here. It's yeah, it's getting pretty bad. The valve gasket is not leaking. The oil is coming straight from the headers. That's a sign of blow by from the piston rings. So I'm finally gonna address that situation and get the new piston rings put in. I'm gonna have to get another head gasket for this and ARP head studs and probably some forged rods so we could push more boost. Maybe see what 20 pounds feels like compared to 12. But yeah, so far I got the radiator out, took off some of the extra accessories like the wastegate, the oil catch can, turbo drain line, disconnected the turbo feed line. Basically everything is ready for the engine to come out. Just need to do the bell housing bolts. Can't exactly remember, there's like 7 or 8 of them that I need to do. Take the starter out, and then I should be able to pull the motor. I've been wanting to paint this engine bay. Don't really know what color yet, but we are gonna paint the engine bay and shave the bay and do some tucking and clean up this engine bay some, and tidy these up some more. I have been labeling my parts, but that's I'll probably see you guys tomorrow unless I go ahead and take off some more bell housing bolts. So. All right, I got the engine out and disassembled into a bunch of little pieces, and I start cleaning this engine, getting it ready for some paint. Sprayed that degreaser on there, gonna let it sit, do its magic. Do a little scrubby dub dub. All right, just got the cams out and the intake lifters, and then I'm just gonna be pulling out all of the exhaust lifters and pulling off the intake lifters. All right, so all of that's off of there. Exhaust manifold is off. I am going to be getting new exhaust manifold studs so I can deep clean this side a little bit better. I want to clean the whole head to look as good, and I'm thinking about polishing up the head just a little bit, probably not to mirror finish, but just to shiny it up. Still need to clean the front of the head. Move it over like this. Still need to clean the front, and the intake side of the head is pretty dirty over here, but with the drill, with this attachment and some degreaser, it gets the job done. So yeah, side's looking pretty good. Do need to take out all these exhaust studs so I can get some new ones in. All right, gonna resurface the head with some glass and some sandpaper.
You could probably set that mirror on top of that.
Let's see how it goes. Slowly but surely. You hone this cylinder. I'm gonna set that backwards.
We don't need that
One
far down.
Mississippi, two in Mississippi. So, next plan of action is to finish up getting all of my pistons completely cleaned up, and I'm going to go ahead and take out all my valves, and we're going to have to lap all of these valves and get them all put in. So that's going to be fun.
Word.
Make sure it's even. Take it back out. Oh. Nice and tight. Right up in there. Just finished the final ring. We got the gap dialed in. All the other ones are gapped and good to go. Just need to slide that ring on. We're gonna go ahead and assemble the block and put the pistons in. There we go, we got the tool. And now we just push that piston in. And yeah, let's see how it goes. I'm gonna use my fingers, so. Send it. Oh shit. I fucked up. Oh, let's go put the pistons in. Thought I was gonna have the block assembled tonight. Turns out I bought the wrong bearings. I got some 50mm oversized bearings. Totally didn't realize until I put them in. There was like a little gap in the rod, and so yeah, if you can see here, there's a little gap, and we had the engine turned over here. We tried to do it, and same thing. There was just a little gap. Can't cinch it down all the way. So then I was like, I put the bearings in. I was like, there's no gap. And I realized these bearings are much thicker than my factory bearing. Where my factory bearing's super thin, these ones are pretty thick. So it's a noticeable difference. Now, that was a good waste of $50. So I went ahead and ordered some standard size ACL rod bearings. So when those come in, I'll get back to where I was at. So in the meantime, finish my head, I'll put my springs back on, my valve seals back on, and my head will be done. Here's the difference in bearing. Here's the 50mm over bearing, and then here's the standard size. You can tell these are quite a bit thicker. And then here's a factory bearing. Got some scoring on there. And yeah, let's put these in. I'm gonna put them in on the first one and see if it locks up again and spins freely. Going in plastic gauging all the rod bearings. Here's the last one, and gonna finish this up. So far, all of them have been right where I want them to be. So let's finish this up and then put these back together, and then its bottom end is complete. All right, so we got the bottom end assembled. Rods, bearings, pistons are all in there. Everything's lubed up. Now we gotta focus on the head. So let's get the springs and all that put back together. And here's some clips of that. Using a pin to insert the valve seal.
push that on there. Wait, next one over. What am I thinking? Right here. Get a nice little snug on there. Alright, I'm gonna struggle to put these keepers on now. Gotta somehow slip it in there. My makeshift valve spring compressor. It's right up in there. See if I can get this first one on. It's quite a struggle. Magnetizing this to this and picking them up like this and just trying to set it in there. See what we can do. Got the first one set in there. Now time to do 15 more.
They don't touch each other, do they?
Nope.
They're shy of each other. Yeah, let go.
All right, so that was pretty brief. All right, now let's move on to the final assembly of putting the head onto the block and putting the water pump, oil pump, and stuff like that on. I am waiting on a couple parts. I did realize I ordered some main bearing studs instead of head studs. They didn't work. I'm not even gonna include that video, but I'm waiting for the ARP head studs, and then we can get back to assembly and get everything finished. All right, while I'm waiting on those head studs, I'm gonna go ahead and start knocking out the water pump and oil pump and stuff like that. And like I said with my head studs, I ordered the wrong thing. So I actually ended up ordering main bearing studs. So now I got main bearing studs that are from ARP. The rod bolts are also from ARP as well. So good hardware all the way around, and now I just gotta get my head studs figured out. So let's get everything else going and get this front end looking like a engine again. I like to put a little bit of gasket maker on the gaskets themselves, just for a little extra seal. So I'm gonna throw this on the water pump, throw this on the engine. All right, there we go. I just rubbed it on there, and then that makes it a little easier to stick to that, and it makes it a little easier to install. All right, got the water pump on, and now to do the oil pump, the same exact thing. Basically just put a little bit of RTV on this gasket, and then stick it to this, take that, put it on there, and then put all the bolts on. Now the engine looks like this, all clean and tidy. Head studs will be here tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm going to start working on my engine bay. It's going to be a whole separate video, and basically we did a whole wire tuck and everything, and quite the process. All right, so I went ahead and put the head on. Valve cover just sitting on there so dust doesn't get too much in there. Still need to put my oil pan on, so I'm gonna start putting my accessories on, doing the finishing touches. I went ahead and threw the alternator bracket on, and there we have it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call that a wrap for this video. I still have got plenty more to do to it, but there we have it. This is a forged 1.6 Miata, mostly forged. Got all the hardware and bearings and rods and stuff like that to push a little bit more power. Wasn't very long that I had stock motor in there pushing some boost. Kind of just didn't plan out as I wanted it to. The head was going to need rebuilt no matter what, so might as well do the bottom end while I'm at it. And those bearings were looking pretty rough too. So now all we need to do now is finish the engine bay and slap this thing back in it. Next video is probably going to be the engine bay while I finish up some things on this. I'm not sure if I'm going to record all that, but we'll go ahead and get this done. And in the next video, we'll be putting the motor in and finishing up this engine bay and finishing this up. Get her tuned and start ripping. So, y'all have a good one. Peace out.